Figured I'd shoot a little video here. I'm putting the valves back in. I've got them laid out in order so that um, I've got them matched to the cylinders because in a previous video you probably saw that I lapped the valves in. So the valves were lapped in to a cylinder, and I marked them, and then that way I know which cylinder they go back into. It's kind of a little tricky to get these valves started in to the guides. You kind of gotta just wiggle it around a little bit. Not going to show them all to you. I'll just show you doing one because it's kind of repetitive, little tedious work here. Why I had to do that is this spring retainer, this washer here, is the thing that holds these shims in there, and it's hard to get it lined up precisely in there with a tool being compressing it. So what you've got to do is, usually it's favoring one side. You can put the shim in that side, and it goes in fine, but on the other side it's off. So what you got to do is just gently beat it down a little bit so it what it'll do is just shift it over. Then you just kind of, when you back off the tool, you just got to kind of double check yourself to make sure that it looks like it's they're seated in there. And then what I'll do is just give them a little tap with a hammer to make sure. I had another one of these. I just had to buy this. It's a Torx. Uh, it's made by Torx, or that's the brand name of it. I just had to buy this. I had one, and I don't know what happened to it. In my regular spring compressor for valves will not get these 150-pound springs. So I just kind of double check them, wipe them off real good. Put a little assembly lube on it so that it slides through good and gets through the stem seal okay. So basically that's it. I'll bring you back when I'm farther into it. Just shooting some footage here. I just put the head on. All I'm gonna do is be putting the studs in for the engine. Now, there were studs, API studs in here to begin with. I kind of put the studs on a surface plane and rolled them out, and they appear to be not bent. Any of them are not bent. But we did, he did get new nuts for them. Because I didn't trust the nuts. Even though because of the stress that they had been put under, some of them had been torqued down, but a lot of them hadn't been, and they were just, you know, you probably got some expansion and contraction in there where the ones that weren't torqued down, and the nuts on these studs appear to be the weakest link. I mean, they are the thinnest material, and we could get a new set of them, or he got a new set of them for, I think it was like $110. So we're putting new nuts on them, reusing the old studs. The other thing that happened with these, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it previously in another video, I cleaned them off, but at first I had thought that that stuff on there was never seized. But it almost appears to be like Teflon. When it came off very stringy. Not really sure who would have put Teflon on the head bolts, but Apparently they did. The other thing that I'm kind of a firm believer in is a lot of people will put oil into the head stud, the port of the head stud, and I'm a firm believer in not to do that. You can get a hydraulic lock on the thing. Um, Depending on how tight the threads are into the stud, it'll actually compress that oil, build up pressure, and you think that you've got it tight. And then over time, because the threads are not like a tapered thread, like a pipe thread is tapered, these things are just straight threads. But over time, it will relieve that pressure, and what was originally tight won't be tight anymore. And even with these, even though I didn't put any kind of lubrication on the stud or the head, what I will do is leave these studs set for a day and then come back in and recheck them, because there is a potential for getting a little bit of an airlock in there too. Probably wondering why these studs stick up so far is that they actually go down through the rocker arm assembly, or the rocker arm assembly goes over them. I'll bring it back when I probably going to put the push rods in and put the rocker arm assemblies on. Of course, I won't torque the bolts down. Okay, so we're back. These heavy duty push rods that we got for it, there's two different sizes. There's a larger size, which is the exhaust, and the smaller size, which is the intake. So what I did was we also got heavy duty lifters, so um, I put some oil in the top of the lifter seat for the push rod, and then put the exhaust ones in, and then I'll pick up the smaller intake ones and put them in. Just want to make sure that you get them in right. I'll bring you back. Got a 3/8 torque wrench. I'm going to torque these studs down to 40 foot-pounds. Now this is just the studs. This isn't the nuts on the head. I got a phone call and didn't show it, but what I did is torque the studs down. Now I'm just going to snug the nuts onto the studs. And again, I'm just snugging them. I'll bring you back. These rocker arm cap screws get torqued to 18 pounds. No specific order. And I will recheck them again tomorrow. And what I think I'm going to do is maybe put a little torque on the head bolts tonight, or the head studs. Nothing major, probably just like 20 pounds or something. Actually, maybe I'll leave the torque wrench right where it was at 18 and do it at 18. That's good for tonight. Bring you back tomorrow.